of Saints and Sinners by Morningstar Writes. Chapter 16, The Promise, Reprise. Lucifer breaks into the hotel through the side door. Although the layout of the building is pretty straightforward, it's strangely unoccupied. She's starting to feel concerned that she got the wrong address when she hears chatter drifting from upstairs. "Okay, party's over," someone shouts. Lute can recognize that voice anywhere. It's from the defector, Vaggie. "Time for cleanup, and everyone has to pitch in, even for you, Rosie. Thanks for coming tonight."
"Hey, Alastor and Lucifer are out there. Well, we have to clean, but they don't? That's not fair."
"Angel, it's a party thrown in their honor. Obviously, they don't have to help out."
"Oh, I love cleaning!"
There's a squeaking noise, the pitter-patter of footsteps, and then more shrieking.
"I'm going to get my special tools, and I'll be back to kill all the bugs!"
The door gets pushed open, and Lute peeks out from her hiding spot to see who's leaving.
It's a little creature.
That little creature! The one who killed Adam. "Found you!" Angel Dust grabs Husk by his shoulders.
"We'd love to stay, but we gotta, go to the bathroom."
"Together?" Maggie asks incredulously.
"Yes, together!"
Angel does this hurriedly.
"I need his help with combing my back fluff."
Maggie sends over such an icy glare that the temperature lowers a few degrees. "That," she deadpans, "is a terrible excuse. Get back here and clean, or so help me.
I will. You got it under control. I believe in you."
Angel Dust yanks Husk out of the room before Maggie can intercept. They exit out into the hallway, running past the washroom and into Angel Dust's self-proclaimed investigation room. It's just an unused room in the hotel that he bogarted. "Whoa," Husk says wryly. "This ain't the way to the bathroom."
"Don't be an idiot."
Angel Dust huffs.
"You know what we're here for."
They both look at the cork board, which is covered in a staggering amount of evidence at this point. He rips out a piece of paper from his notebook and pins it onto the board. "Alastor is insanely jealous when I flirted with Lucifer."
"Well, what did we learn today?"
Angel Dust says smugly.
"That you should always listen to me."
Husk looks at him with some wariness. "Okay, fine. Maybe there's a little kernel of truth in your theory, but how far are you gonna go to find out?"
"I'm so close now,"
Angel Dust protests.
"See, I knew that Alastor's gotta have some kind of interest in the king. So maybe I just have to flirt with Alastor this time."
Suddenly a hand grabs his shoulder. "Someone who is not Husk!" "Oh," a cheerful voice says. "What's this?" Angel Dust whirls around in fear, fully expecting it to be Alastor or Lucifer, but it's Rosie. She looks deeply amused, and her pitch-black eyes scan the photographs, the notes, the red string. "Oh my stars! Is this some sort of romantic investigation? My favorite!"
"Yeah, it is."
Angel Dust is initially excited and then transitions into suspicion.
"But, you're not gonna tell Alastor, are you?"
"No, of course not. Dealing with emotions requires a delicate hand." Even so, Rosie has a sparkle in her eyes. "I do think it would be helpful to push him in the right direction. Why don't we discuss your findings so far?" The radio is on, as always. It envelopes the room in a smooth, jazzy tune, and Lucifer leans back on his armchair, still munching away at the cherries that Alastor had given him. They're sitting across from each other in their own chairs, and they're separated by a table in between. Lucifer feels warm, content. The world is a hazy blur from the combination of alcohol, the flickering fireplace, the old-timey jazz, and he lolls his head to the side to look at Alastor. Maybe it's because he's in his own room, but Alastor looks perfectly at ease. He's humming along to the song, and although he had called him in, the only activities they've done so far have been sitting, drinking, listening to music, and every now and then they make eye contact. But it's always brief, and Alastor looks away first, and Lucifer looks away second, and the cycle continues, rinse and repeat, over and over again, until he can't stand it anymore, and he opens his mouth to say, "Hi." That single word is enough to capture Alastor's attention. He lifts his head up, whiskey bottle still in his hands. "Did you have something to discuss?" he asks. Unfortunately, Lucifer's mouth moves faster than his brain because he has no idea how he had planned to finish that sentence. And then the rest of it comes out involuntarily. "What did Rosie talk to you about?" He winces after he says it because he already knows what's going to happen. Alastor will disregard the question, give some sort of vague response, and look at him with eyes that say, "Back off!" Like always. Or even if he does answer, it'll be strained, spoken through gritted teeth. All signs point to an undesirable outcome. Lucifer resumes eating his cherries, not really expecting him to answer, and in the midst of it all, he had forgotten that, more than anything, Alastor has always been surprising.
I would like to know as well,
Alastor sighs with some exasperation.
But unfortunately, she has absolutely confounded me.
And Lucifer chokes on his cherry for 2 reasons. Alastor answered his question immediately. He found someone else confusing? That can't be, Lucifer manages to say. You're like the king of being confounding. All the words are starting to sound weird coming out of his mouth, and the more he tries to speak, the more Alastor's grin grows.
You perhaps inebriated?
No, but I'm not inebriated. God, he can't pronounce it. Maybe he's a little. Whatever. And besides, that drink you made me was 90% cherries.
And 100% revolting.
Hey. Lucifer scowls. He grabs a cherry from his cup, throws it right at Alastor's face, which he doesn't dodge, or more accurately, can't dodge. It hits him right on his cheek. Splat. And Alastor looks almost surprised at the impact. They both watch as the cherry slips onto the floor and Lucifer suppresses the chuckle that bubbles up. Speaking of, are you wasted? Ha ha ha! Alastor narrows his eyes in response.
What a notion! I have never experienced intoxication.
Lucifer launches another cherry and he jerks back this time, but it hits him right on the nose. Splat.
Stop that right now.
Alastor threatens, or what? They stare at each other tersely, and Alastor's hand twitches on his whiskey glass, but he doesn't respond to his goading.
Tell me your request,
he says instead. Lucifer rolls his eyes, and he nestles deeper into his armchair. What's yours? He counters.
Tell me yours.
Yours.
You.
Alastor's smile wavers, and he looks visibly exasperated.
What exactly are you playing at?
Somehow his annoyance is amusing Lucifer to no end,
And he wants to push him a little. See how much he can piss him off before Alastor tries to throttle him. So Lucifer points at his cup on the table. Top me up, and I'll tell you.
Alastor bristles at the command,
Looking indignant, and Lucifer enjoys it, likes seeing Alastor get all riled up in a low-stakes situation, because when it does, his smile sharpens, his pupils dilate, his deer ears twitch testily, and he's just so much more.
You are being quite tyrannical tonight.
He clenches his jaw, but he twists the cap off unsteadily. Free pours the whiskey into the cup. Except he misses, and it completely sloshes onto the floor. Lucifer has to grab onto the bottle to stop Alastor from pouring anymore, and he hurriedly cleans up the spill with a wave of his hand. You're definitely drunk.
That is simply not possible.
Alastor sounds snappier by the second. You literally missed my cup.
Just a momentary lapse in judgment.
Yeah, right. Who's the mess now, douchebag? Bang! Alastor drops the whiskey bottle down onto the table, irritation visible, and he bolts out of his seat towards Lucifer, slams his hands on both of his armrests, puts his face right in front of his...
Between the two of us,
he growls.
It will always be you.
Alastor towers over him, arms boxing him in completely, and he's so big that he practically blocks out the light from above. Their legs bump up against each other, calves grazing every time they move, but more importantly, Lucifer can't stop staring into Alastor's glowing red eyes. Is his smooth response.
Are you even listening?
Alastor sounds impatient.
Pay attention, Lucifer.
He reels back into the present when he hears his name, and his 5 senses kick-started to focus. The taste of Macharino cherries on his mouth, saccharine sweet. The smoky scent emitting from the green flames, the sound of jazz playing in the background fast and hurried, the sight of red, black, the touch of Alastor's bare ankle brushing against his own, and his brain fixates on the one thing he's wanted to ask, something that's been on his mind all day, all night, like an irresistible siren call, whispering at him incessantly. Here's my request, Lucifer blurts out. You want to know, right? Alastor squints at him, but eventually nods, and he roots around his brain for his last lucid thought. Tell me, just, what were you trying to say on the rooftop? He doesn't elaborate, but Alastor seems to understand what he's referencing. His hand squeezed tighter on Lucifer's chair, gripping on like it's his lifeline.
Is that really what you want to use your request on?
His voice has an edge to it, but Lucifer is determined to peek behind the curtains of Alastor's mind. Yeah. It's met with a resigned sigh. He's still looming over him. Lucifer can feel his warmth emitting out of his body. Everything is too hot all of a sudden, and he has the urge to take his vest off.
So be it.
Alastor leans down, and his red hair grazes Lucifer's cheekbone.
Explain something to me.
His voice is lowered, clandestine.
Why do you care about me? You
Alastor points a finger at him.
have so much fear. So scared that I'll leave.
Uncertainty passes through Alastor's eyes.
Which begs the question.
He stops here, hesitates, and then he speaks his sentence so quietly, it's practically inaudible.
Why do you even want me to stay?
Alastor looks at him, and it's too much. Lucifer feels dizzy, unstable. The alcohol certainly isn't helping. None of this is what he expected. He puts his hand over his eyes, not wanting to see him anymore. Truthfully, Alastor is a walking, talking collection of contradictions. Cruel yet thoughtful, dismissive but observant. He's mesmerizing, multifaceted, magnetic. And Lucifer still wants to measure the curve of his smile with a protractor. What's up with that? Don't you fucking dare say any of this! He threatens himself. Even in the swirling whirlpool of his brain, he knows that it's too much. So he ends up saying something worse. You take up so much space in my head. Lucifer keeps his hand over his eyes. I'll be doing something else, and then I think about you. I'll be with other people, and I want to see you. It's met with utter silence, and the song on the radio screeches to a halt. I don't. Lucifer's voice breaks for a second. I can't. He feels weird. Can't bear to see Alastor's reaction, so he doesn't. He's got both hands on his face now, and he's incapable of expressing the tangled mess inside his head. Can we talk about this when I'm not drunk out of my mind? Fortunately, Alastor doesn't push. He lets go of his armrests instead, and Lucifer can hear him walk away, his shoes clicking on the floor.
Well now,
Alastor's voice sounds far away.
I thought you weren't drunk.
The music starts up again, slow and introspective. I thought so too. Lucifer mumbles. His hands are still on his face, so he doesn't notice that Alastor is looking at him with a strange expression. Now the radio continues to play, but Lucifer's not in the mood to listen. Thanks for cleaning up with me, Maggie. Charlie shakes a hand to make the slot machines vanish, and she sighs at the mess. I don't know what I'd do without you. Charlie, it's fine if you want to ask for help. I mean, you planned all this. Yeah, but I just want everyone to have a good time. Charlie starts sweeping up the floors, and Maggie helps hold the dustbin. Do you think my dad and Alastor enjoyed it? Those two? Maggie thinks for a second. Probably. I mean, they were really into the games. Right! Charlie is steadily struck by the memory of Lucifer's red shirt, which coincidentally matched the color of Alastor's shirt. Into the games. Charlie. Maggie steps closer, her heels click-clacking on the ground. What's on your mind? Truthfully, she doesn't know how to say it. She has a wiggling thought in her brain, a mere seed of a hypothesis, and she leans on her broom. Maggie, do you think... I mean, it's great that my dad and Alastor are friends now, but I was wondering if I'm missing something? Missing? Maggie echoes. Like what? Like what was up with Angel, my dad, and Alastor at the poker game? Charlie gestures wildly at the felt table, still covered in heaps of discarded casino coins. I felt like maybe I witnessed something I shouldn't have. Isn't that just how Angel acts?
Yeah, but that's not how Alastor acts, Charlie sighs. Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking too much.
No, Charlie, Maggie says quickly. Whatever it is, I'll help you out.
Charlie smiles at this. Thanks, Maggie. I mean, if you could keep an eye out for my dad and Alastor, that would be nice. But no pressure.
You can leave it to me. Maggie nods determinedly. I will watch over them like a hawk.
Well, you don't have to work that hard,
Charlie says, holding Maggie's hand affectionately.
Although it's already so much better with you on my side.
Charlie presses a brief kiss on her cheek, and they grin at each other.
Nifty senses something. She turns around, but the hallway is so dimly lit that she can only see her own shadow.
She tilts her head, trying to listen for footsteps. All she can hear is the faint melody of Alastor's radio emitting from the floor above.
Ha! Nifty shrugs. Nothing to worry about.
She skips forward to the beat of the song, humming the whole time, and she fails to notice the figure trailing behind her. They don't speak afterwards, although it's a little surprising that Lucifer hasn't left. He merely sits and drinks away, motioning his cup at Alastor whenever he wants a refill. They've gone through most of the battle at this point, and Lucifer's skin is a bit flushed. There's a dreamy expression on his face as he glances over at Alastor, eyes unfocused. God, I could drink this all night. It's the first thing he's said in a while.
Heavens, you seem unaware that you have been drinking it all night.
Alastor replies dryly. Lucifer flings another cherry at him, but he's too out of it to dodge, so it hits his cheek. Splat. Ha! Lucifer laughs a bit too loudly. That never gets old.
Oh, only to you,
he says, peeved. Lucifer rolls his eyes and resumes drinking, which gives him time to contemplate over his earlier response. It had left him with more questions than answers. He wants to see me? He thinks about me? Lucifer mulls over this. What a ridiculous concept. The most unfathomable issue is why Lucifer has even an iota of affection for him. But hearing him say those words made Alastor's heart quiver for a moment. Just for a second. And it's a familiar feeling, yet somehow it's not. Alastor has been in many situations where he's met close calls with death. He's fought against enemies who aimed to kill. He's snuffed out the lives of powerful overlords. It's just, this sensation is notably different. Still tense, still nerve-wracking, somehow equally worse and better than fighting. Try to get this. Lucifer throws another red cherry at his face, which he manages to catch in his hand. He feels absurdly proud that he's able to grab it, especially when his head is swirling around like water down the drain.
It appears that you have a death wish this evening.
Alastor cleans himself with his handkerchief.
Why don't you...
He loses his train of thought because the sight of Lucifer distracts him. He had taken off his white vest sometime during the night, and his pink shirt is unbuttoned about halfway, his neck and chest partially uncovered, skin glowing even under the dim lighting. What are you looking at? Lucifer gazes at him, and Alastor jolts, not expecting to get caught. He smooths out his expression anyway, and he points at Lucifer's shirt.
You appear to have missed some buttons. What a careless display.
Lucifer's eyes follow the direction of his finger before he shrugs dismissively. It's hot here, and you know what? This is called having style. Not that you would know. It's remarkable how easily they slip back into repartee, but Alastor can't help the twinge of annoyance at Lucifer's fighting words.
Ha ha! Allow me to show you what a little pizzazz looks like.
Alastor pulls his jacket off his shoulders and throws it at him. It slaps Lucifer's face, and he yanks it off indignantly. Hey, what the hell was that for?
Wear it!
Alastor demands coolly.
Perhaps you'll finally develop some fashion sense,
Lucifer shoots him up with a big glare, but he tugs the jacket on anyway. It practically swallows him up, and he has to roll up the sleeves a few times. Okay, this is way too big.
How shrewd of you to notice the difference in our stature.
Lucifer scowls, but he doesn't take the jacket off. Instead, he grabs his white vest from the back of the chair and tosses it at him. You have no idea what looks good. Try this on for size, asshole.
And why should I?
Oh, get off your high horse and put it on, Alastor. Lucifer drawls, and the sound of his name hits him strangely right in the chest. And as though he were possessed, he finds himself putting it on. It's obviously too small. Alastor can barely even work it past his shoulders, and Lucifer cackles so uproariously there's tears coming out from his eyes. "Oh my god," he wheezes. "You look so stupid." Alastor yanks the vest off, aggravation threatening to boil over.
You are quite ill-mannered. Return my jacket, then.
Lucifer smacks it in. "Make me." Without even planning on it, they both stand up. Alastor's balance is unsteady, but he lunges anyway. Lucifer steps back. The effects of alcohol hit him hard, his head reeling, and he grabs onto his chair for balance. "Wow, you can barely even stand up straight." Lucifer laughs loudly. It echoes in his room, boisterous and full of glee.
Neither can you.
Alastor grits out, it's the truth. Lucifer stumbles over his feet as he swerves away, and he has to take a second to reposition himself. "At least I can still do this."
He grabs Alastor's lapels and shoves him back.
Is that all the King of Hell can do?
Alastor flicks Lucifer's forehead. "Ow!" Lucifer huffs. "Okay, you're in for it now." They spring into action, throwing fists that they narrowly dodge, and every step Alastor takes is heavy, leaden, laborious, but he keeps going at it, keeps fighting this mock brawl because it's fun! Fun! Watching Lucifer's face scrunch up from annoyance, trying to focus, feeling the weight behind his punches strong and firm, hearing him grumble without any real vitriol, smelling that hint of temptation that always accompanies him, tasting the palpable tension in the air.
You have yet to properly land a hit on me.
Alastor taunts. "Watch your back, that bitch." Lucifer dodges Alastor's blow, but in the midst of it, he trips over his own feet and starts free-falling backwards, and his eyes widen, and instinctively Alastor's hand shoots out the reach for him, and Lucifer grabs his hand onto his. They fit together perfectly, and Alastor doesn't even know who did this first. Their fingers intertwine. They clutch at each other steadfastly, red fingers interlaced with dark gray, and it shocks his system. He looks at Lucifer's hand, to his chest, to his neck, to his lips, to his eyes. It's true that they've held hands before, but not like this. And he should yank his hand away, yet he can't, doesn't want to, instead gripping onto Lucifer's hand even tighter.
It appears that I've saved you once again.
Alastor slips on a discarded cherry, tumbling them both onto the floor in a sprawled heap. Lucifer winces at the impact, and is trapped underneath Alastor's much larger frame. "Ow! Ugh, what a hero," he says sarcastically. "Get off of me, you're heavy." Alastor pushes himself up, his hands on either side of Lucifer's head.
We only ended up in this predicament because of you.
But when he looks down, he realizes they're close. Alarmingly close. It's not what he planned. Definitely not what's supposed to happen. Lucifer's still pinned underneath his body and their fingers entwined, so Alastor lets go, stands up as fast as he can. He doesn't offer to help him up, and Lucifer pulls himself up on his own. They stare uneasily at each other, red eyes into gold, the jazz on the radio turning fast and tense. Alastor takes a step away, another step, step, backs up all the way until he knocks against his chair and he can't move any further. The music from the radio crescendos, resembling the sound of an alarm. Lucifer clears his throat, his eyes darting between Alastor and the door. "Shit. Are you... I mean..." Whatever he sees in Alastor's expression makes him inch towards the exit. "I have to go!" He practically sprints out of the room, and Alastor doesn't stop him. Lucifer paces down the hall, and the pleasant buzz of alcohol becomes an absolute hindrance when he can't stand up straight. In his haste to leave, he realizes that he's still wearing Alastor's suit jacket. Fuck. He leans against the wall, slanting downwards until he's crouching on the floor. It had been almost suffocating in Alastor's room, and he can't stop thinking about the press of Alastor's body against him. The brief touch between their ankles, the way their fingers intertwined. His face heats up. "Am I the world's biggest idiot?" Lucifer mutters. "What the hell am I doing?" He's gonna be uncomfortable. He can't read Alastor's mind, so Lucifer has to piece it together based on his physical reactions. The way he jerked back, stepped aside, allowed him to leave. It had been a good night, until it wasn't. He must have overstepped Alastor's boundaries. I should say sorry, Lucifer thinks. No, wait, he hates apologies. Shit, I should still go back, though, and He's not sure what exactly he should do, but he doesn't want to end the conversation this way. All right, get back in there, dumbass, Lucifer mutters. After giving himself this terrible pep talk, he turns back. Alastor polishes off the rest of the whiskey. He sits down on his chair, stands up, walks around his room, sits on his bed, gets back up. He's restless, moving back and forth like a pendulum, and he can still feel phantom traces of Lucifer's touch on his skin, and somehow it felt good. Alastor jumped at the thought, horrified that it crossed his mind, appalled that he really, truly feels that way, and he's so wrapped up in his head that he walks right into his bookcase.
Stupid piece of shit bookcase.
Alastor swears uncharacteristically, his anger spiking at the inanimate object. His head is spinning, alcohol coursing through his veins, and he furiously digs his claws into the shelf. He has half a mind to rip the whole thing down when his eyes lock on to the pair of rubber ducks on the shelf. And his wrath dissipates.
Yo,
He carefully picks up the Lucifer duck, so tiny in his hand.
what is your goal here?
The duck doesn't respond, and Alastor puts it back down.
Aren't you uncooperative?
He mutters.
Well, if that is how you want to play it.
Alastor takes sweeping steps over to his door, yanks it open, making up his mind to go look for him. But Lucifer's already at the door, his hand up like he's just about to knock. Oh, busy meeting you here. He has on such an uncomfortable smile, it almost makes Alastor laugh.
Well, now,
He composes himself.
did you forget something?
Something like that. Lucifer sounds apprehensive, fidgets for a moment, and then his face clears up as though he was just struck with an idea. Right. We came in here for a reason. What was your request?
Ah,
He looks away.
that.
He had nearly forgotten about it.
We
Alastor drops his hand from the doorknob.
don't need to get into that tonight.
Alastor looks at him with surprise. What? No, let's just... Come on, I'll do whatever you want. There's a strange hint of urgency in his voice, and it makes Alastor's mind flounder because he knows what request to make. He just doesn't want to say it. Even so, he feels his sense of control slipping through his hands like sand in an hourglass. He's lightheaded, the whiskey not helping, and there's a hazy, soft tint to everything. It almost makes Lucifer look luminous. Alastor runs his hands through his hair, yanking at it, bringing his hands down to his neck, evading eye contact. And he finally caves into something he's wanted for a long, long time.
Your promise.
He says at last. And Lucifer just understands. They're back in Alastor's room, the door shut, and they stand there for a while, like they're sizing each other up almost. How... Lucifer clears his throat. How do you want to do it?
Oh, are there other methods I am not aware of?
Alastor replies full of snark. Ha ha, very funny, asshole. I meant, do you want me to come to you, or are you gonna come over, or... He trails off and Alastor lifts an eyebrow.
You are making this much harder than it needs to be.
Well, you're not moving at all. Are you gonna come, or what? Lucifer's face starts to turn red, either from embarrassment or anger. Alastor can't tell at this point. But watching him act like he normally does is oddly comforting, and he feels more at ease to continue his request. Alastor beckons him over with his finger.
Why don't you come then?
Fine.
Excellent.
Stop trying to have the last word. Lucifer huffs, but he walks up anyway, stands right in front of Alastor, lifts up his arms, and then falters. You sure? Lucifer's eyebrows are knitted with worry, but Alastor has reached new levels of impatience.
Enough is enough.
In one fluid motion, Alastor brings him into his chest. Lucifer squeaks at the impact, but he hurriedly places his hands onto Alastor's waist. He's warm, just like he remembered, and he's a little more familiar with his shape now. The sharpness, the contours. Lucifer moves his hands to the small of his back, and it's admittedly nice. Definitely nice. But not sufficient? Alastor tugs him in closer from confusion. It's still not quite. He needs more somehow. Lucifer pats him rapidly to get his attention. Any tighter and you're gonna squeeze me to death, he says, muffled. His face is basically crushed against Alastor's chest at this point.
Oh, I did not realize it was this easy to kill you.
Still, Alastor releases him from his iron grip, and Lucifer wheezes, gasping for air. God, give me a moment. They're across from each other, not touching, not moving, and Alastor is unsatisfied, deeply, deeply unsatisfied. When Lucifer finally catches his breath, he straightens up to look at him. So, are we done? Yes, he wants to say. You can go now, he tries to say. But then he drags his eyes over the smooth expanse of Lucifer's skin, his confused yet curious expression, the red pin still tucked in his hair. He's wearing Alastor's suit jacket, the sleeves starting to roll down, too long for his arms, and what he actually says is,
No.
Alastor takes a step back and Lucifer follows. He sits down on his chair and Lucifer tilts his head. Every time he makes a move, Lucifer makes a move, and he feels a surprising thrill at that fact. What now? Lucifer asks, and he surrenders to his baser instincts. He snatches Lucifer's arm, pulls him so hard he sprawls onto his lap. Lucifer gasps at this, but doesn't stop him, just hurriedly places his hands on Alastor's shoulders to balance. What are you doing? Lucifer sounds bewildered.
Closer.
Alastor mumbles, and he doesn't really speak properly, can't formulate his thoughts at all, because every part of him is screaming at him to get his hands on Lucifer. Alastor grabs his waist, runs his hands down further and further, slowly but steadily dragging his fingers over every inch of him, taking his time to skim past his narrow hips, trace over his thighs, and he digs into the surprising musculature of Lucifer's legs, pulls him closer until they knock against each other, chest bumping into chest. Whoa, Lucifer says dazedly. I don't think I've ever seen your eyes so close before. Alastor lets out a frustrated noise, not in the right headspace to form sentences. And Lucifer is fully sitting on his lap now. Alastor drags his hands off of his thighs and back up, clutching Lucifer's tiny waist with a firm grip. At this proximity, he can smell his faint scent of temptation, so intoxicating that he has to fight the urge to bury his face onto Lucifer's neck and breathe him in. Still, it's good, really good. Fuck, that feels good. Lucifer slides his hands off Alastor's shoulders to wrap his arms around him instead, and if it was good before, it's even better with more physical contact. And Alastor has no idea why he denied himself this for so long when it's the only thing that feels right. They sit in this position for a while, Lucifer on Alastor's lap, and eventually he feels appeased enough to loosen his grip. The sound of jazz steadies into a soothing tune in the background, soft and whimsical, and Lucifer unwraps his arms from his shoulders. He leans away a little, not to create distance, but rather to study Alastor's face. It took you a while to ask for another hug.
Have you been looking forward to it?
He bites back, expecting this to be another verbal sparring session. It isn't, though. Lucifer looks at him seriously, his gold eyes clear and determined. And if I say yes? The music terminates. Come again! Alastor can't stop his radio filter from slipping off, and he drops his hands from Lucifer's waist. He opens his mouth, unsure of what to say. Luckily and unluckily, he doesn't have to, because that's when they hear a scream. What the hell was that? Maggie jumps down from the stairs with her angelic spear. There's a massive gold portal glowing in the middle of the room, and standing in front of it is someone awfully familiar. Lute! Maggie grits out of her teeth. Lute turns around, her eyes blazing with fury. Well, if it isn't the weakling! What are you plotting? Maggie directs her spiritor. Answer me now, or you'll have hell to pay. Oh, I'm not here to fight, vagina. Lute sneers, and Maggie snarls at the name. I'm just grabbing something that's owed to me. She holds Nifty in her hands, who isn't even trying to escape. Instead, she shrieks in delight, and she's definitely the sort of the scream from earlier. Nifty! Maggie yells. Let go of her! I don't think so, Lute says. I have other plans for her. Nifty claps excitedly, and she points at Lute. Maggie,
look! I found a bad girl!
Nifty, can you just... She's about to kidnap you! Maggie groans.
Oh!
Nifty looks less pleased now. And since you can't come to heaven without a portal, I guess I won't be seeing you. Good riddance, Lute smirks. Don't you dare, bitch! Maggie throws her spear at her. But it's too late. They've already made it through the portal, and it spasms shut.